So I'm not someone who looks at Pokemon leaks anymore, but in October 2021, there was a certain leak that came out that might be relevant now that we're going to be taking a look at. And I think this leak pretty much explains exactly what the Indigo Disk is going to be about. That's right, something that's going to come out in probably early 2024 was leaked all the way back in October 2021. And big shout out to the Hidden Power podcast, because I started to formulate these ideas alongside the members of the podcast, Dusty Go-Goat, Lumios Post, and Soul Silver Art, and we came up with these ideas together on the fly, on the spot. You gotta check out the podcast episode when it comes out. So if you take a look at this leak here, this was a leak that was, you know, rumored and circulated around before Legends Arceus even came out. It was a leak that said that, hey, Sword and Shield had hinted towards Gen 9, and that Gen 9 is not going to be on Australia, but Atlantis. This was immediately shut down when we found out that the games were going to be based off of Spain, but if you look into it, the code name of Scarlet and Violet is Atlantis, because there are a lot of ties into this game and Atlantis. And on top of that, if we look at Blueberry Academy specifically, it looks like Blueberry Academy is just an island in the middle of the water. But most probably there's something beneath the water as well, because on top it's just a school, but where do you find the Pokemon? Where's the food? Where's the rest of the locations that you would have in a normal area? It can't just be the school alone. There has to be something else to it. So Atlantis and Blueberry Academy match up really well. That being said, I'm sure you guys have heard theories and people talk about how Atlantis and Paldea match up really well, but if you want to hear me talk about it, let me know in the comments down below. There were supposedly 2 clues present in Legends Arceus, a message in a bottle on the beach and a trident symbol in the professor's home. Now, both of these things are not present in Legends Arceus as we know today, but this isn't too crazy because there is a lot of cut content in games. For instance, for Legends Arceus, we do know that there was indeed a house that was of the character from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, a futuristic house of the modern day that was in the game's coding but wasn't ever available. So we're assuming it was cut last minute. Why, who, what, where, when, all those details we don't know, but it was cut content. Along those lines, it's possible that these 2 clues were also cut. We don't know, but as far as we're aware, this part of the leak is not true, or was true and is not there anymore. Again, I want everyone to remember, this is 2021. You don't know what Scarlet and Violet is, you don't know who Fuecoco, Quaxley, and Sprigatito are, you don't even see Koraidon, Miraidon, none of that. But this person goes on to say that the legendary Pokemon are the Hands of Time duo. One represents clockwise, the other anti-clockwise. They can time travel between past, present, and future. Depending on the version, you either go back in time or forward to stop the legendary sinking the island when awakened. Now we have to dissect this into a few different parts. Obviously, we have Koraidon and Miraidon. Are they the Hands of Time duo? That's hard to say, but they do represent the past and the future, clockwise and anti-clockwise respectively. That adds up. Now, can they time travel? As far as we're aware, they cannot. But if this DLC is talking about Blueberry Academy, then maybe there is some potential for them to time travel later on. Depending on the version, you kinda do go either back in time or forward in time. You get past Pokemon and future Pokemon, past in Scarlet, future in Violet, and Sada goes back in time in Scarlet, and Turo goes forward in time in Violet. Now, if this is on the Indigo Disk, they're saying that you will go back in time or forward in time, depending on the version, to stop the legendary sinking the island when awakened. Now, Terrapagos. There has been a lot of talk about Terrapagos being Paldea, being the actual region, because it fits perfectly. This was talked about before even the Pokemon Presents, how the island looks like a large turtle, but yes, now that we see Terrapagos, it fits in pretty well, especially with the hexagon on its back that fits in really well with the shape of Area 0. Suppose that with the Blueberry Academy DLC, the Indigo Disk, suppose that Terrapagos in its ultimate form really is the size of a region, and this is what the DLC is about, which it has to be about Terrapagos because Terrapagos is the main legendary in question. It is the poster child of the Indigo Disk. If this legendary is that big, if it's like Arceus, where it's so big that to contain it, you need to make smaller fragments of it. If Terapagos is that big, and it's the size of a region, I can imagine that it might awaken the way it does, and it's going to sink the island of Paldea. It's going to be sinking Blueberry Academy. And for that, if we need to go back in time or forward in time to stop it somehow, that adds up with what we know so far about a time machine that Sada and Tura use, past and future Pokemon. I mean, this isn't 2021, guys. This is not like it just came out. This is someone saying it in 2021. And of course, the talks about past and future have always been there in Pokemon. People have wanted this for so long. But I think this is very specific, and it gets even more specific than that. In 2021, someone mentioned that ancient and future forms of Pokemon will exist. Now, this is pretty crazy to me because they got it accurately, along with the fact that they called Atlantis. If it was just the ancient and future forms of Pokemon, I would be like, whatever. It's not that serious, because ancient and future Pokemon have always been talked about for a long time now, and people have always wanted it. But the fact that they got Atlantis, that's insane. And let's just talk about Atlantis alone. The fact that this person said that our region is going to be based off Atlantis is absolutely mind-boggling and crazy to me, because most people will take this and be like, oh yeah, that's just any other 4chan post. Atlantis? Who's going to go to Atlantis? Pokemon can go to Spain, they can go to Italy, they can go to India, they can go to China, they can go to any other region. Why would they go to Atlantis? Some place that's not even, like, it's not, it could be fiction, right? Atlantis is still, it's not a real place as far as we're aware. It is the works of fiction. It could be real, not saying it ain't. Who knows, right? But where it's not like any other region that we've got so far where it is geographically present. Atlantis, as far as we're aware, is made up. And to have a region, to have someone say we're going to have a region based on fiction, a fictional region in the world, that is bonkers. So that in tandem, and they're right. No matter what, they are right. Whether Blueberry Academy is Atlantis or not, whether Area Zero is Atlantis or not, Scarlet and Violet's codename is Atlantis. So they are right. The fact that they got that along with ancient and future forms of Pokemon and legendary Pokemon being the hands of time, that is nuts to me. They got it. They got this is real. To some degree, it is real, right? And again, ancient and future Pokemon, whatever, it's just in tandem with everything else. That is bonkers. So this all seems very much like Paldea, like Area Zero. We kind of know a lot of this. Where is the rest of the juice? Where is the rest of it coming from? What about Blueberry Academy? Well, I'd like to say that the Terapagos coming out and causing a big rumbling, that was Dusty Gogoat's idea. This next idea is a combination idea from Lumio's post in Soul Silver Art. Soul Silver Art did point out that in the Blueberry Academy poster with our 2 trainers and the Paladin starters, you get these next 4 trainers and a lot of fire, grass, and water elements going on in their side, but there's no real starters there. There's no Pokemon there. There is a lot of empty space, and it looks like Pokemon can fill up that space, but nothing is present. And to that, this leak says that the Kanto Starters get regional evolutions, which, I mean, I would have been like, whatever, but Soul Silver Art pointing out that there is space in this poster, and it just might be the 3 Paladin starters versus the stars that these guys use. Lumio's post said that, hey, maybe the Kanto Starter evolutions reside on this side of the poster. Which, to that, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. If there are new region evolutions that can only be accessed in Paldea or Blueberry Academy or Area Zero or something of that nature, and these trainers use them, that makes sense. And you know what? There is a fire, fairy, and fighting symbol in the background of this, on the screen over here. Charizard is definitely fire. Venusaur I can see as a grass fairy type, and Blastoise I can see as a water fairy fighting type. And if that is the case, oh my goodness, we might be getting Kanto Starter evolutions. Who knows? Like new ones. Who knows? They're gonna milk Charizard. It makes sense. They want to milk Charizard. They haven't milked Charizard in Legends Arceus. They didn't really milk Charizard in Scarlet and Violet. They had a Terra raid, yeah, so what? But they didn't really milk him yet. I'm sure I am sure they're going to find an opportunity to milk Charizard one way or another, and this makes sense. But this is, if we see something of the sort, I will go back to this and be like, this is 100% real. But this is more hypothetical. It's just that this poster really makes me think that, yeah, you know what? There is going to be a new Fire, Water, Grass trio or core on this side that we just haven't seen yet. And they're hiding it for some reason. So this leak about Kanto Starters getting new regional evolutions, it could be possible. The last thing is that the island is a water paradise. And you know what? Blueberry Academy looks like it's going to be a water paradise. It's just in the middle of the water. It's shown off to be something that looks like a paradise. Even when they're inside this classrooms, it looks like it's more of a paradise. And again, I don't think we've seen the extent of Blueberry Academy. I'm sure there's a lot more to it. I am sure there's a lot more underneath the water that we just haven't seen that's going to make it like a paradise. And what's crazy about this is the word paradise, because you know what? At the end of Scarlet and Violet, when you fight AI, Turo, and Sada, when they're stopped fighting and they get taken over, what do they get taken over by? None other than the Paradise Protection Protocol. I think this leak from 2021 is not a leak on Scarlet and Violet, not on the base game, not on the Teal Mask, but the Indigo Disk. I think whoever this person was got to see some sort of information and they thought this was Scarlet and Violet, and it was, but it was just the last part of Scarlet and Violet, and there might be a chance that all of this is real. If that is the case, then maybe Koraidon and Miraidon do unlock the powers to travel to the past, present, and future. Maybe we do get Kanto regional evolutions. Maybe this is real. Maybe Terapagos will wake up and sink Paldea and Blueberry Academy, and we have to stop it somehow. I don't know, but I am really leaning towards this being real, and I am not looking at leaks moving forward. I'm only looking at stuff in the past, but this was something I just had to talk about. I don't want to talk about leak content. I really don't. But this, I got so excited on the Hidden Power podcast that I'm like, I just need to talk about it. So yeah, that's what the 2021 leak is all about. I think this is totally on the Blueberry Academy. I think we're seeing ancient and future forms of the Kanto Starters. I'm very excited. I cannot wait, but we'll have to see what happens. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, check out the Hidden Power podcast if you haven't already, because that's where we came up with these ideas on the fly. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next one. All right? Later. Bye.